Hi world, this is Kevin again. Just out for a little stroll on this beautiful Sunday. Finally, the rain/snow stopped falling. Went out for this stroll so that I could do this cool little video. Apparently, I actually got a couple of messages from you guys saying, it was kind of scary that I was driving and filming. Just so you guys know, I wasn't holding the phone. It was actually a cool little stand I have in my car. So everything was done safely. But due to those concerns, I'm out here just taking a walk. Probably my exercise for the year. I also want to apologize for not having uploaded videos as often as I said I would. Work has kind of been kicking my butt as of lately. Trying to launch new products. As many of you know already, I work for a software development company, and launching new products takes a lot of time and energy. So that's kind of where the bulk of my energy has been this week. But I'm back, and I was pleased to know today that I actually was endorsed by the Utah for Bernie group / campaign. I actually learned this from Stephanie over at precinct, I believe, 51 in South Salt Lake. Great gal, great delegate. Honestly, she's working hard out there for you guys. For those of you in her precinct. Also, just want to say thanks to everybody who's been supporting me and helping me out throughout this campaign. I know I haven't been out there as much as I should be. I really want to though, but time constraints, work, family, everything, just kind of grouped together. But again, I'm back. I'm ready to be out there, more vocal about the things I stand for, and just ready to get Bernie into the White House. Now, I also wanted to take a minute and talk about one of the very important things close and dear to me, which is probably one of the biggest topics that a lot of young people have on their minds, which is education. Education really is very important. It allows us to get good paying jobs. It allows us to get better futures. And with the increasing cost of education, it's getting harder and harder for many of us to really reach that limit, especially for those of us that don't have the financial means to cover that. And that really is causing a great divide between the haves and the have-nots, between the people that can afford to shell out $10, $15, $25, $30,000, just like that, and those of us who can't. I was lucky to have had access to Pell Grants and student loans and all of those things, but not all of us are so lucky. Some of us don't have the access to those sorts of funds. Some of us don't have the ability to have mentors that can guide us through the process and the greater the very complex system, which is FAFSA and all the legal loopholes that you have to jump through to get a hold of those resources, which is really weird, because education is one of the primary things that we tell our children is important for them to have an education. And at the end of the day, we're really doing them a disservice for not letting them have, oh hey, look at all these beautiful cherry blossoms. That tells you when summer's around, right? So yeah, I just at the end of the day, education is one of those important things that we really have to provide to them, whether it's K through 12 or higher education. We really have to let them have access to that education, because without that, we won't have a well-trained workforce. If you're looking at it in monetary value, if our people aren't properly trained to do those jobs, which many of the jobs we have now will no longer be around by the time they enter the workforce. And a lot of those jobs will be totally new areas that weren't teachable back in the day. If they're not ready for those kinds of things, then us as a society, we're not going to be able to compete with the rest of the world. We're just not going to be able to. And so letting them have access to a proper education, letting them have access to the resources needed to prosper and excel in society is very, very important. Now, whether they decide to use those resources or not, that's a whole nother story. But as a society, we do have the moral obligation to provide those resources to those who otherwise don't have access to them. Yeah, as you guys can tell, education is one of those passions of mine. So big of a passion that a few years back, I actually, being in tech and having a technical background and having such a large passion in education, drove me to create a learning management system. And for those of you who don't know what a learning management system is, it's a piece of software that allows students to really communicate better with teachers, find out about their grades, their classes, be able to study better, learn easier, and a whole lot better. And unfortunately, the bureaucracy in education is too large to really try to innovate at the level at which we were trying to do. But regardless, we need to give them more funds so that they can innovate faster, create better ways to make resources available to our students, to our future. It's sad to see, former classmates of mine, to which, I'm still very close to people that have dropped out simply not because they don't have a passion for learning, or they don't want a degree anymore, or they don't see the value of it, but rather because they just can't afford it. And that's a travesty to me. That's something that is very, very wrong to me. I've seen the other side of the fence. I've been to other countries. I've seen what they have, and honestly, we're getting to the level of which, our schools are failing us, and we really need to step up our game in order to be prepared to compete with the rest of the world. We really have to cut this mentality of Texans versus Californians, New Yorkers against Floridians. I wonder if that's the correct word for all those people. But anyways, we're not separate states anymore. As states, we cannot compete. We can't compete like that anymore. We truly need to be united. Hence the United States of America. And really providing students with the resources and the education necessary to fulfill their dreams and be ready to go out into the workforce and and produce big, beautiful works of art, in a sense, you know, these big businesses, you know, that will produce most of the things that this country's gonna export, you know. That's what we've got to be preparing them for. And at the end of the day, it's, you know, we gotta stop. We really have to stop pulling away funds from our education. We should be pushing more money into our education, because at the end of the day, it's all that we're gonna have. It's all that we're gonna have. So yeah, that's kind of my little rant about education. As you guys can see, it's something I'm very passionate about. Not just because I'm young, not just because, you know, not just because it's, you know, I've been involved in education before, but because it's something but rather because it's something that we need. It's something that we desperately need to better our country, to better our society. And that's just one of many things that we need to do. So, yeah, if you guys can still hear me through this wind, that's kind of it. Again, I want to give a shout out to all my friends, my family, and all the people who are, all the delegates in District 4 and outside of it too, that have been supporting my candidacy for a national delegate of the 4th District for Bernie. You know, I really appreciate your guys' support. I also wanted to say one final note. Someone I can really consider at this point a friend, Josh, over in the 2nd Congressional District. He's also running for national delegate, and I was talking with him the other day, and I noticed that he forwarded some messages from a mass email that he sent to a couple Hillary supporters, because he as well is for Bernie. And, you know, the responses were really very negative, very cruel, in my opinion, especially for someone who had been in the armed forces, and someone who had served for our country. You know, I think that we really should be supportive of each other, whether they're for Hillary, whether they're for Bernie. It doesn't matter. We should be supportive. We should be kind. We should be respectful to others, and that's kind of my message to all the delegates today. Not just my rant about education, but also about, you know, I understand, you know, politics can get heated. I understand politics can be decisive and not decisive, can divide. But we have to stick together. We ultimately do. Especially in such difficult times. You know, we have to ultimately stand together and get work together. So yeah, that's pretty much my rant for the day. Well, that one's starting to pick up, so I'll let you guys go. But go ahead and show your support by liking me on Facebook. Like my Facebook page, Kevin Perez UT. Also check out my website, kevinperezut.me, and like my YouTube page, or subscribe to my YouTube page. Alright, guys, check you on my next video.